The New York Giants just made a huge move and got some more good news on top of it. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul. This is Big Apple Sports. If this is your first time tuning in, let me just give you a little background on myself. I like to be positive as a Giants fan. I know this past week's loss was just horrific. Even I put out a couple negative videos bashing the kicking game and the coaching staff. I couldn't hold it in this time. But in general, despite some of the struggles the Giants have had this year and will continue to have likely, I try to stay positive. We only get 18 weeks a year, maybe a few more if we're lucky and the Giants get in the playoffs, but only 18 regular season weeks to enjoy the greatest sport this earth has ever seen. And I'm not going to spend it hating it and being a Debbie Downer about it. I try to find reasons to be optimistic and positive. So if that sounds good to you, just like and subscribe. And we'll be talking some more Giants football all year round. So let's get into the big move the Giants made. Obviously, the biggest concern many of us have had, it might be D coordinator now, but the biggest concern prior to this week we all had was at wide receiver. Well, all of a sudden, the Giants have made an interesting signing. So they signed Ray McCloud from the Atlanta Falcons. I think a lot of people will probably initially be a little pessimistic about the move, like, oh, the guy just got cut. He obviously isn't good. But, one man's trash is another man's treasure. You see guys like Kendrick Bourne getting cut from the Patriots and putting up 100 yards for the 49ers in back-to-back weeks. Like, if you've played really well at an NFL level, sometimes you just need a change of scenery. And the nature of his release is really interesting. So he had like an excused absent and was sent home. And then all of a sudden he was a surprise healthy scratch. And he even posted supporting the Falcons because they were playing the 49ers, his former team, that he wanted this one bad with his teammates. But something that's interesting is the Falcons fired their wide receivers coach, Ike Hilliard, after they got destroyed by the Panthers. And it sounds like he and Ray McCloud were super close. And he even tweeted something about the league has no loyalty. So I think a lot of people are wondering, did he have kind of an outburst about the coach getting fired and that kind of severed his ties with Atlanta? It's tough to know. We may never know. Maybe we'll find out in the coming weeks now that he's been moved. Maybe he'll be more vocal about it. But either way, this is a good football player. Let me pull up his stats from last year. So this is his game log from the 2024 season. I can't fit it all on the screen. But if we go to the bottom, he had 62 catches for 686 yards and added another 79 yards on the ground. So this is a player who put up over 750 all-purpose yards last year. He's not going to be a big end zone threat, only one touchdown. But he's the kind of guy, he's quick, he's fast, and if you can get him in space, he can make a big play. Like you can see, he had a 60-yard play against the Chargers, a 40-plus yarder against the Panthers, and most of these games you can find at least a double digit, but a lot of them even a 20-yard gain. He's just somebody who can come in and make a big play. And he's not Malik Neighbors. The Giants aren't going to be able to replace Malik Neighbors' production this year. But I think he comes in and immediately becomes the second best wide receiver on the team. And Lord knows the Giants really need that right now. Last week, not sure who saw this, Wan'Dale Robinson is the only wide receiver to make a catch. Couple tight end catches, some running back catches, but only Wan'Dale Robinson made a catch at receiver. And when you're trying to develop a rookie quarterback, that's really tough. And so now, all of a sudden, a receiver who put up 750 yards last year just falls into your lap. He's on the practice squad, and I hope, maybe he won't be ready and learn the playbook enough time to play this week, but I hope we see him at least by next week. And then I promise some other good news. Darius Slayton practiced today. Oh, you can't see that. Obviously, you can see there's a nice little list of people who didn't practice today, but Darius Slayton is indeed back. And hopefully we get to see him play this week. And then with Ray McCloud coming in the week after, all of a sudden you have three guys starting at receiver who have put up good numbers at an NFL level. Like, yes, it's not going to be Malik Neighbors. There's a few in the league who are. But there's been guys who really should be on a practice squad coming out here week after week. And finally, with Slayton coming back and hopefully Ray McCloud in the next week or two, you have three NFL caliber receivers who have all produced good seasons at this level. So, I think the amazing thing too is Jackson Dart's been playing really good football even with the struggles at receiver. Like the pick last week was bad and it wasn't always pretty, but he put up over 30 points on the best defense in the NFL, and a defense that is on a historic pace. Like, they are on a pace to be the defense with the most sacks in the history of the NFL, even beating the 85 Bears. And a man with only one wide receiver dropped 30 plus. A rookie with only one wide receiver dropped 30 plus on them. So we got a good one here in New York, and hopefully we continue to surround him with more talent. Now, one final piece of good news. This may even be the best news. I'm sure most of you saw it, but I got to talk about it for a minute. Graham Gano is back, and Jude, I struggle to say his last name because I feel like there's an A in there that shouldn't be, but McCatmany might not have said that right, but I don't even care. Make your extra points if you want me to pronounce your name correctly. But he's gone. The Wicked Witch has been defeated. No, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't want to bash him, and they're just human beings. Sure, he's a very nice guy. I wish him the best, but the fact of the matter is he cost the Giants that game last week. If he doesn't miss that field goal, they don't have to go for two. The Giants aren't going for two, or the Broncos aren't going for two because of the weird point swing. Like, there was a point where the Giants and Broncos had both scored the same amount of touchdowns and same amount of field goals, and the Giants were down by 4, and it all started with the missed extra point by Jude. Too many A's in my last name, McCatmany, or however you say it. I struggle with it, but hopefully it's Graham Gano this week. It sounds like that's the plan, but if not, it'll be Younghoe Koo, and he struggled with the Falcons towards the end of his career too, but just give us all the struggling Falcons, and hopefully the Giants can fix them, and we can see some better football than we saw this past week. I think a lot of us are still upset about it. I'm trying to move on and be positive. So, you know what, if you're watching, give me something positive about the Giants. There's things to be excited about. Dart, Scadaboo. Let me know your thoughts, what you're feeling positive about, and then just don't forget, like and subscribe on the way out.